Hello and welcome to this edition of Big Sky 35 Gaming, where today we're going to be going over some of my pickups from the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, and let's see what I got. Hello and welcome to Big Sky 35 Gaming. Like I said, we're going to be doing some pickups from I've probably been about 5, 6 weeks, maybe a little bit more. But I started accumulating some. I've been wanting to do this now for a couple weeks, and I just want to go through them, and you'll probably start seeing like some things that I'm collecting. I've gone over before. What I'm really looking for is Sega Genesis, Sega Dreamcast, and PSP. So I'm going to start off with none of that, but some limited run games. I've been looking at those, especially with the Switch. I have found, you can download all of these, but this is Toe Jam and Earl, Back in the Groove. But I like I said before, if you looked at my room tour, I love hard copies. So these are fun games. And with the Switch, I really like platformers and just easy to pick up and play and set down games, just like any handheld. I use my Switch a lot for a handheld. It also, with limited run, you get these little cool game cards. I guess people collect them. And I collect cards too, so people know that if you watch my other videos on this channel. Next up is another limited run game. This is Zack 3, and this is going to be for the PS4. And this came with a cool little card. Foil cards. They're nice looking cards, but don't really understand that whole concept. Really looking forward to putting that in. I have not played a Zack, I guess I'm saying that right, Zack. But they always, when I watch gameplay of it, and it's one of those games I didn't play when I was in the past, and I really wish I would have put more time in that type of game. So we'll play that. And next, I went to a game store about an hour, I say, 45 minutes to an hour from me. That's probably the closest retro gaming store I have. And they had a buy two, get one free. So I went in there and I saw a couple of games, and I started looking for a complete inbox, and I picked up this one, Crazy Taxi. It's complete with disc. The case is a little roughed up, but that's okay. And then I saw the sign for buy, and I had a cheaper, I can't even remember what it was, Sega Genesis game, but it was complete in box. And it was like $8. So, but I saw that it was buy two get one free. So I was like, well, heck, I'm gonna go get some higher end stuff, and that way it'll be worth my while to get. So I think I told y'all before, I try to get all the Zeldas I can on the systems I have, and since I picked up a 2DS, half off, complete in a box from a store going out. This one, the box, the game came loose. But yeah, it's not complete. It doesn't have whatever little manual or whatever comes with it, but it's got the case. So if I could find a manual, I guess these came with manuals. And then the next one, I really they made their own cover art, which really looks good. But they always, on the back, it's the company's logo on the back, and also that's the one drawback. But I got Castlevania, the Dracula X Chronicles, which I've heard really good things about for the PSP, and I've seen gameplay, and I really like the early editions of Castlevania. That was one of my funner. If I was playing platformers, that was probably one that I played, and I didn't know at the time I was playing a platformer. I just played games, so really enjoy that. And then right after I got my 2DS, I went to the GameStop, pre-ordered some stuff coming up later in the year. But again, they had a couple of Zelda games really cheap. Well, not cheap, but at good prices. So I picked those up. I don't think they have the... Oh yeah, it's got the little manuals in it. And so I bought the Ocarina of Time and A Link Between Worlds. I thought I took the sticker off of both of them, but this one still has one on the back. And where I bought the 2DS before that shop code went completely closed before I went on vacation. I made one last trip there. I went there twice to pick up games. The first time I picked up my first Pokemon games, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Pokemon Ultra Moon. Never played a Pokemon game in my life. I don't know if I want to start, but they were half off, and I was comparing it to eBay and price charting, and it was way cheaper than that. So I'm keeping them sealed. I don't know, I might flip them on eBay, but I doubt it. I mean, I'm a collector. I've always talked about that. It's hard for me to sell stuff. And then, you know, I've always talked about this. Metroid Samus Returns. Really good price on this one again. And this one, I've gotten a couple of the games on the Wii. Love the game. Trying to get through the controls. The controls, somebody left a great message on that. Let me touch on that somebody left me a message saying, man, why do you keep getting Wii games if you keep complaining about the controls? Well, I like the games. That's the problem. And I keep hoping the controls are going to miraculously, like, oh, they're not that bad. I can get through it. And I probably will if I go back, because one of the Zelda games I really enjoyed, and I really enjoy the Metroid games, so I really want to play those. I just got to get used to controls. That's all. It's my one complaint. And I started getting Wii games because I have the system, and I had two games. I had Tiger Woods and the Wii Sports, and you know, I kind of wanted to pick up some of the more iconic games, the Marios, the Zeldas, Donkey Kong, like I was saying. And then I got that Red Steel game, which was fun to play. And again, that one, you use it as a laser pointer, just a little loose. That's my biggest problem. Yes, I got the attachment you put on the bottom that's supposed to tighten it up, but I still, and if I get used to it, I've played enough, I get used to it. But then I got the other Zelda game last week in another box, which you use it as a laser shooter too, or whatever, light gun. And also at the same place, I picked up this South Park Fracture Butthole game. Few bucks. This might even been like a used game. And then same place, Ratchet and Clank. And all these I got half off, and if they were in the used game or returns or whatever, they were $10. I got them for $5. This was like $7, and I had $3.50 I think for Dark Souls 2. And I've heard nothing but great things with these Dark Soul games, so never played it, really want to. And then these last two that I have, these are going to be Sega Genesis games. So So I picked up one Dreamcast to add to my collection, one PSP game that I really wanted to play, and didn't get in a box. Crazy Taxi, same way with Dreamcast. So if I can't get them in those sub boxes, I'll just go ahead and get it myself. And this one, I overpaid a little bit, but it was already there. I don't have to pay for shipping. This one I went to a card show a couple hours away from me up near Minneapolis, and it was a retro store there. It was pretty cool in there. It was really wide open, a lot of space, a lot of complete games, but it was a little overpriced. And I guess it was in a mall, so he probably has to pay for that mall space, but just a little overpriced. But I got this complete in box, really clean, Sega Classic Golden Axe. And I used to burn this up in the arcades. Really clean cartridge. He said he spent a lot of time. He spends a lot of time cleaning these. In the book, the manual is immaculate. So I'm sure I overpaid a little bit, but I got what I wanted. So with that being said, I don't mind paying a little bit more. And this one, I went back home on vacation. There was a retro store in the town that I'm from. Did not realize it was there. I asked them how long they'd been there for. They were at one spot, which I knew, and it was bigger. They moved. I didn't know they moved. I thought they closed. So I guess I knew it was there, but I didn't know it was open. I didn't know it was at the location it's at. And this one is Clay Fighters in the cardboard box. And I've been seeing it in the plastic, but I got it in the cardboard. Again, little damage on the cardboard, but that's, it's cardboard. But the inside of it was really nice. Cartridge was nice. Still had the card in there. And the manual. A little roughed up on the back. But, for a manual, it was all there. And I really haven't played any of these games. I was kind of waiting to show them to y'all. This is a fighter game, and I don't even know if I'll play. I'll put it in to make sure it works, of course, but ain't nothing I can do about it now. But it is, it's a fighter, and I'm not a big of fighters, but it seems like a lot of people talk about it. Guys at work's like, oh, you got to get the Clay Fighter game. And there's a couple other games that I just missed out on, or was later in the generation. And I already moved on to PlayStation, or just stopped. There was a time where I just didn't play much video games. Didn't have the time between work. I was working retail and not making a lot of money, so I couldn't really buy games. So anyway, with that being said, that's my pickups for the last 5-6 weeks. I don't buy. I bought one lot. I don't go out and buy a bunch at a time. If I see like that place closing, I felt like I got some good deals. And then, I went down. I try about once every 4 to 6 weeks go down to the retro store. And if I go into a new area that I haven't been before, I always Google game stores that are near me where I'm there and just go check them out if I have time. So at the end of this month, I'll be in Chicago for a card show, and I Googled some game stores around there, but I think they're all going to be a little too far from where I'm at. So I'm not driving, I'm flying, so if I want to Uber it or something, I could do that, but I just don't know if I'm going to be doing that. I was thinking about driving so I could go do, so the show stops at 6, you got to find other stuff to do that night. But anyway, with that, that's my pickups again, and Tell me what you know, if there's any games that I ought to pick up for. I'm real, like I said, Sega Genesis, the Sega Dreamcast, and PSP. Sorry, went brain dead. But you know, if there's something on a system that you know I have, and you know you think I should pick up, let me know, man. Go, hey, this is a game you need to try. You know, new or old. So or new to you. A lot of this is new to me. I just missed it, you know, when I was coming up. So get those controllers out, get to playing. Remember, subscribe, like, share. See ya!